not far away, Mr. Speaker, that we are going to have robotics in this country. In this country, Mr. Speaker, I was in Switzerland, and there was a young man from Kenya, the slums of Kibera, who was picking up old computer parts and regenerating them and building into them other things. That gentleman was honored in Switzerland, and he was given a scholarship to go to United States. We lost him. These are the sort of things that we need to generate. The institute, the Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, does not have to be there just for masters and PhDs. No, no, no. We are there to develop our own innovation. I see no reason why, Mr. Speaker, we couldn't have built our own car. It was there, but we didn't do it right. But there's no reason why, even at this moment in time, Mr. Speaker, we cannot build our own car from the beginning to the end. Mr. Speaker, this country will become a consumer society. We really need to build. When you go to South Korea, you go to China, you go to other places, a lot of money, even the President Xi, is going around the country and developing innovation centers. So we as Kenyans, and especially Africans, we must take advantage of this. We must take advantage of AI. We must not be left behind, but we want practical solutions and practical uses of some of these issues. These issues like climate change, all of these are all very nice ideas. But Mr. Speaker, can you imagine for a minute that if we could develop that silicon chip here in this country, where much of our silicon comes from between here and Congo, and some of the minerals that are coming from here, and if we could develop a technology, Mr. Speaker, to draw that water from Turkana, underneath Turkana, which is bigger than the reservoir of Lake Victoria, if we were able to get that technology, if we were able to get that oil that we got with this tallow was us, Kenyans. Most of the workers of tallow were Kenyans. So it was taken away. So if we could do some of these issues, if we could work on some of these matters that are hounding us, if we could, for argument's sake, get the Nairobi River sorted out and generate power from it, if we could then reuse our plastics and generate other issues from them, we would be far. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the establishment of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Well said. Honorable Mudende. Mudende, Leo, Jeru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to this motion. And as a student of science, a graduate of biochemistry, I say this is long overdue. I remember the university challenging lecturers on some of the practicals we used to do in biochemistry, while our counterparts in Europe, US, and some parts of Asia were doing advanced research. They were doing advanced tests at that time. We were still extracting cholesterol from mice, which I remember really, because I'm a good student of science, I was really asking, what do we aim to achieve? Therefore, establishment of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology is a breather for any scientist who has been complaining that we focus so much on importing rather than innovating our own. And we have very unique circumstances here in Kenya. My only concern is that we are focused so much on engineering, especially electronics, electrical. But then in the field of medicine, we have left out genetic engineering. We have left out medical biotechnology. I see there is agri-biotechnology, which is very good. But we also have medical biotechnology, and genetic engineering, which are the current frontiers in treatment, especially for diseases or conditions like cancer. Therefore, if we can also add such, whereby we can have our own developments here, and we have brains, we have people who always end up working, lecturing in other institutions. Most of my classmates actually lecture in the US, and we need now these people to come back to Kenya so that we stop importing and start innovating. Another field is phytochemistry. I believe our forefathers were very good in identifying which plants were good for which ailments. We still have some of this, and with an advanced lab which can extract and even profile some of these chemicals, we can actually develop our own medicine, patent, and sell out there. So I want to say, Mr. Speaker, this is a very important time in our history as scientists when we have a lab or an institute which promotes innovation and reduces the brain drain that we see with most of our brilliant scientists only finding themselves useful outside Kenya. I come from Bere North, where coltan has been discovered. It will be very sad to start exporting raw coltan, whereby instead of having the Kenya Institute of Advanced Science and Technology having a course on refining coltan to its elements, and then we start making some of these resistors here, capacitors here, and maybe even some of these components of mobile phones, so that Samsung iPhone can actually import some of these parts to assemble in other places, or even they come here to assemble, because it's a very important component even in electric vehicles. So I look at this as one of the most important things that will pass, and I support this motion fully. Let us support the establishment, the ones developing the curriculum to look at medical biotechnology, phytochemistry, and also genetic engineering, because that is where we are headed in the field of medicine. I support this motion fully, Mr. Speaker, and thank you again for this opportunity.
Boyata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to supporting the establishment of Advanced Institute of Science and Technology in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. If I look at the global space, we have Korea Institute of Advanced Technology and many other countries that tend to understand the importance of technology have established similar universities, Mr. Speaker. This particular motion, the reason why I support it, Mr. Speaker, one, is going to make Kenya the regional leader on issues of science, technology, and innovation, Mr. Speaker, and put us at par with the countries like Germany, countries like United Kingdom, countries like Israel, countries like Japan, countries like South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan, and many other countries that have been able to advance on matters to do with technology, Mr. Speaker. Kenya is a net importer of processed product, Mr. Speaker, including very minute items like toothpicks, Mr. Speaker. And it's a shame, 61 years after we attained internal self-rule, we are still importing most of the items that are consumed in this country and losing a lot of foreign exchange in this regard, Mr. Speaker. So with this particular institution anchored in the country, Mr. Speaker, we are going to mitigate the importation of essential items, Mr. Speaker, and promote manufacturing and industrialization, Mr. Speaker. If you look at our country, Mr. Speaker, many of our youth are still unemployed, Mr. Speaker. So with this particular institution being established in Kenya We are going to generate employment opportunities, particularly in the line of technology, manufacturing, and industrialization. And this is what we have been looking for or waiting for many, many years, Mr. Speaker. I happen to live in many countries, Mr. Speaker, and all the countries I've lived, technology is a key ingredient in terms of development. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, as patriots, we think for current and future generation, Mr. Speaker. And that's why I support this particular motion, because I mean well for Kenya, and I would want to see an advanced country and a progressive nation for that matter, Mr. Speaker. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, our GDP, if we want growth in gross domestic product, having technology embedded in our plans for economic growth, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to have growth in our GDP. Because the moment we start manufacturing and exporting what we manufacture within the East Africa community and beyond, our GDP is going to grow, Mr. Speaker. Again, through manufacturing and industrialization, we'll have to have a healthy balance of trend. That is import and export. And this is what is going to boost our economy in matters to do with growth, Mr. Speaker. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, when we talk of infrastructure, we cannot talk of growth or development, meaningful development, Mr. Speaker, without technology. We talk of bridges, proper roads, and also issues of agriculture, climate, that is smart agriculture, and the climate adaptation technologies, Mr. Speaker. All these you find in science and technology. If you go to Russia, Russia has integrated technology in agriculture, Mr. Speaker, equally or similarly to Israel, Mr. Speaker. And these countries are able to progress, feed their people, and export. And that is why we need to have these level of institutions to teach and build human capital that can compete with the rest of the world and align itself to what the world needs, Mr. Speaker. We talk of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Where can this be offered if we don't have this institution, Mr. Speaker? So to be very well and advanced on matters of STEM, we need institutions like Advanced Institute of Technology, Science and Technology, Mr. Speaker, so that we have skilled labor force that can be depended on in Kenya and other countries, Mr. Speaker. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, through having an Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, we'll be able to solve current problems and the challenges which could also emerge in the future. Recently, we had Corona, the COVID. It was a big problem, Mr. Speaker. Even to get vaccines, we were dependent on foreign countries to bring vaccines to our people, Mr. Speaker. So if we had these institutions, research and innovation, then we would have been the leader to provide temporary solutions and permanent solutions to emerging challenges of now and the days to come, Mr. Speaker. Pathological studies would be required to be done, and that can happen when you have institutes of science and technology, both on issues of health and many other fields that are needed for advancement of this country, Mr. Speaker. Security, Mr. Speaker. We have seen the war in Iran and the war in Ukraine, Iran, Israel, and United States, Ukraine, and Russia. What they are using is technology, Mr. Speaker. Actually, I feel pity for Kenya if at all we engage ourselves in this similar level of wars. They are using drones, they have air defense system. We see the David Sling for Israel, the Iron Dome in Israel. What do we have in Kenya, Mr. Speaker? That is a gray area. So if we don't think and prepare for future, we will be a colony of other nations, Mr. Speaker. So if we want to remain competitive on security, Mr. Speaker, we need institutes of advanced technology like yesterday, where our labor force can be trained and we start manufacturing products that can build security platform for the country, to defend the country and to be able to put ourselves at the same level with advanced nations, Mr. Speaker. Artificial intelligence is another area coming up. All this is happening in the countries with departments for research and innovation, Mr. Speaker. Robotics, etc. Even today, modern planes, they are dependent on artificial intelligence. So, Mr. Speaker, this is very timely, and we need to move with speed to ensure we have a very functional and advanced Institute of Science and Technology in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. And then lastly, Mr. Speaker, for us to move from talk to action, Mr. Speaker, we are the only house that appropriates budget. And we can only talk of a functional and advanced Institute of Science and Technology if we plan well and appropriate budget. We need to resource enough money for research and innovation so that we become self-reliant and have a country that can actually support our neighboring nation, Mr. Speaker, because you know for sure Kenya is the economic powerhouse of East Africa, Mr. Speaker. And this glory can only continue and be solidified and enhanced with the science and the technology, Mr. Speaker. And that's why I urge your members to support this motion, and I rest my case and support the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honorable member for Suba North, followed by the member for Seme, and then the honorable Mayaka. In that order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to join the other members of Parliament who have spoken ahead of me in supporting the establishment of a charter for the Kenya Institute of Advanced Science and Technology, or Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Mr. Speaker, from what you have heard members saying, technology is today and technology is tomorrow. And Mr. Speaker, with the world is going, unless we are able to move with it, we'll be left behind. It's actually the new revolution, like the way we had the Industrial Revolution, and technological revolution is actually the current revolution. And Mr. Speaker, for those of us who travel a lot, you do notice that there are many, many ways in which if you are not able to keep up with the technology, you are not able to actually keep up with the rest of the world. Members have given diverse reasons why we should actually keep up, but some of them, Mr. Speaker, include the daily convenience and efficiency. Mr. Speaker, there were things that we used to do and it would take us 1 month, 2 months. Now you are able to do in 10 minutes. Mr. Speaker, when I was in the university, and I remember you are challenging, I don't know if it was Honorable Shakil, and is making reference to some time, and you said you are not yet born. I don't want to attempt. I don't want to attempt. I might just discover that the date I'm talking about, you are not yet born. So, Mr. Speaker, when I was researching at the University of Nairobi, what used to happen is you'd go to the physical library, and you would have searched for that law report very seriously. And you go in and you find it, and because they are very scarce, you find the specific item you are looking for, somebody plucked and went off with it. So that was a very common aspect of university life. I'm very, very happy, Mr. Speaker. I think I'm very happy that I went to school right now. I actually thought it was going to be a challenge, but it's very exciting because it's very, very different. Now, I remember, and I'm glad there are other members of Parliament who are also in the same class with me. And I remember at one point when I was struggling, and we have an assignment, and I'm taking longer, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and KJ is here, I was in my class. And they are telling me, Billy,
Which class?
PhD class, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
We are serious people here,
Okay.
PhD. So we might actually just be going to this one for now, advanced PhD in innovation and technology. But Mr. Speaker, what they told me is, they say, Millie, how are you researching? I was still going back for my physical documentation, reading, and God knows what. Then they gave me all the engines. You have the engine for everything, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, now what then happens is that the research I could be doing for 4 months, now I can do for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Of course, it comes with many challenges. And the challenges that it comes with, Mr. Speaker, and that's why you actually need an advanced University of Technology and Innovation, that we also don't understand and we've not kept up with it. Like, even up to yesterday, I was actually doing one of my assignments, which coincidentally was on the challenges we face in fisheries. And we were also doing the Fisheries Act. And Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges that I was facing is after I do my paper, because now I'm becoming very technologically savvy, and I actually went and did an AI checker. Plagiarism, I'm at 2%, meaning if I've plagiarized or appear to have plagiarized 2%. But AI first attempt, 67%. So I go back and rework my document, use my language as much as I can, it moves up to 57%. What is the challenge? The challenge, Mr. Speaker, is when I use my language like in situ ex situ. It appears as not plagiarized, it appears as AI generated. But because I'm already a technical person, so when I infeed things, I appear as AI. Mr. Speaker, you know I'm that serious, but do I say that my language, and Mayaka was telling me that it is called what again? What you were telling me yesterday, that the computer, now because I speak, my words are in, I'm machine what? Yes, I have machine-motivated language. Because I speak in parliament, I use the same language. It is online because I shared this. So when I share the same language that I speak here in parliament, it appears as AI. How then can we deal, even from an academic perspective, how do you deal with such situation so that you don't then consider me as actually using AI? It's just, I am a walking AI, Mr. Speaker. We need to actually see, and it's one of the things that I'm going to actually ask my university to look at. There is a bill that I've seen that is coming on AI, and I will actually raise these issues, that we might actually have to bring it as a regulation issue or as a substantive legislative issue. How do we deal, say, when we are doing research on AI? And secondly, because AI is also information that is infed by humans, where do you expect me to get information? The same way I'll get it from a textbook, it's the same way it will appear in AI. So if I use good language, I am told if I say recipes are loquitur, AI. If I'm to use exquisite, AI. Anything I use that is at a degree above the normal English, AI. So we must actually then find different protocols of science, dealing with science and technology. And that is something that unless we have people with specialized knowledge, will face a challenge. Mr. Speaker, of course, the issue of advancement in health and technology, and I've had my good friend who is learning very, very fast from our new member, who has talked about phytochemistry.
It's called
Wamudende?
Yes, that's his name.
Why are you telling me Wamudende? I'm the one who even escorted him here. It's just that you know that one is, the Wamudende is very different from Otieno Nyango, so sometimes it takes a while. Plus menopause is also catching up, yeah? So, but with the science and technology, you can also find ways of dealing with the menopausal symptoms like disappearing names and all that. But I was just saying that in terms of even as a medical field, as a person who has done a lot of research in the past on plant genetic resources and their medicinal values, if you actually then get into the field of innovation and science and technology, we'll be getting cures for things that hitherto were a challenge for us in the world. And Mr. Speaker, for instance, one of the greatest challenges I faced growing up as a young girl was a problem with fibroids. And for me to actually deal with it, I had to actually go and undergo very serious surgery. It's a major surgery. But now I'm told there are less invasive ways of dealing with it because of science and technology. And increasingly, Honorable Nyikal, I think, wanted to inform me of it, but he can inform me when he's actually talking, because he's advanced in those areas. But because of science and technology, things that used to be very problematic are changing very fast. Mr. Speaker, you can't believe that because of also, technology, that I'm able to do so many multiple roles. Within this period, I think I've been the period of 3 months, I've been to my constituency, I think 6 times. I've been to Mexico, I've been to, I don't know, God knows, Australia, I've been to South Africa, I've been to God knows where. If it was the days of technology, without technology, Mr. Speaker, I would still be on my way to Mexico, just one direction. But because of technology, excuse me? Yes, I am doing very well. I've always done well. I'm a global leader. Mr. Speaker, that's why I'm a bad girl, but do I say? And Mr. Speaker, because of even interconnectedness, so many times, Mr. Speaker, I walk into airports, even now when I was coming from South Africa 2 days ago, a lady just stopped me and said, at the airport, and she says, I know you from somewhere. I told her, well, probably from TikTok. And it turned out that, yeah, she knows me from TikTok. I get that all over. And Mr. Speaker, technology in a very strange way is also forcing us as leaders to lead correct lives. I cannot go around now doing anything in Nigeria, Uganda, Tanzania in any manner because technology exposes me everywhere. Mr. Speaker, I can see my time is up, but I had a lot to say. It enhances trade. Look at M-Pesa. And Kenya is actually a leader in this. Mr. Speaker, again, I was talking about many challenges, including gender inclusion. Women are still left behind. And we must learn to adapt. And otherwise, we'll be left behind. Otherwise, I fully support. It is an idea whose time is now. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Lekakeny, do you want to speak on this? Because I've not seen your card order. I'm speaking to the Honorable Lekakeny. Oh, okay, great. Then this is your chance, Honorable Nyikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Something must be wrong. I've been here.
What is wrong is that the Honorable Sunkuli is also called the Honorable Lekakeny.
Okay.
That's what you guys don't understand.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the establishment of Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Mr. Speaker, I say that when I see this, Africa is once again rising to acknowledge and embrace science, because the world has got the social element, the physical element. And the physical element of the world is basically whatever we do, whether it is buildings, whether it is clothes, whether it is food, whatever it is basically science. And all that we do actually in universities is basically to study how the world works, how God created the world. All these forces that we see, Mr. Speaker, they existed before. About 40 years ago, you could not speak on a telephone without a wire connecting you to the next person. Now we are actually using waves. These waves were not created, they are not new, they have always been there. And it is when you get these institutes of advanced science, that is when you actually delve deeper into the knowledge of the physical world and find forces that we need to harness so that we can improve our existence. So the existence and the progress of humanity is actually linked to science, understanding science. And that is why I really support the establishment of this institute. Mr. Speaker, we also must realize that when we talk of science, engineering, and technology, sometimes we actually do not make the link. What we are talking of here is actually the top of the range. But we must realize that we will need the middle range to actually utilize these people. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at scientists, pure top-level scientists, they just tell you what scientific facts are, what are the sciences that exist. Then you will need technologists and engineers to actually find out how do we apply this in daily life. So the physicists will tell you how the nuclear, how the atoms and the electrons react. But then you say, how do you use that? And for that, you will need technologies and you will need engineers, and at that high level. So we must have this as the leading, at the leading age, but it must be supported. In reality, for a certain number of this level of persons that will produce, you also need other people at lower technology level, lower engineering level, and even at certificate level, so that these people can actually apply the technology and the science that come from these institutions in industry. because industry is the mass production. And mass production starts with science, then it gets into technology. How do we use this to improve life? Then we produce products. If you get into a situation where you produce these people, but there are no technologies that can actually carry out what they do, Mr. Speaker, you will then end up with academicians. Or what will happen is most of them will actually leave the country. Other countries will pick them. So when we go to this level, we must be prepared to actually invest more, not only in the institute, but also in the utilization on the products of these institutes. Mr. Speaker, what we must guard against is when we start an institute like this, and you raised it earlier during the discussions, that sometimes we start like this, and in the end, they just become another university. What happened with the JKU Art? When we started the JKU Art, I think it was supported by the Japanese, the same way we are now supported by the Korean. But eventually, you just get other courses, and it becomes another university. And the cutting edge is so expensive. If we don't put money in it, then we find it easier to get general degrees. And once they become large numbers, we get enough resources from that, and these ones just die. So you have JKU Art started like that. It has not remained at life. You are talking about Technical University of Kenya. The idea was exactly the same, that university was to be a technical university dealing with technical subjects only. What has happened now is just becoming another university. When we started with Egerton was also supposed to be leading. And what therefore we must do...
What is the issue?
The issue here is financing. That is the basic issue. We must accept that we will need to invest more. And the returns are normally slow and long. And if you're not patient, we want quick returns. And if the universities are not well funded, they start looking for money elsewhere. They get courses where you need a blackboard and a chalk, or now just computer, and you can teach. When you are at this level, it is high-level research. When you're doing research at nuclear level, when you are doing research at phytochemistry level, that is now high-level research, and we must put money in it. And if we put money in it, then actually it will produce what we want. That danger is so big that if we don't look at it, then it will be something we celebrate now, and in about a year or in about 5-10 years, it's just another universities that people are clamoring to get into. And again, what other countries do is we must also get, like when you get this university, we must link it with industry. In other countries, there are actually industrial research parks, which means a university like this is linked to industry. The ideas that they create are actually funded by the industry and immediately taken up and put in production, so that the business people can now run it. So it is a great idea, it is a beginning, but we must be willing and ready to finance it, support it, and protect it from the danger of just becoming another university. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Mayaka, followed by the member for Malindi, then the member for Marakwet West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. But even before I contribute to this motion, I actually wanted to inform Honorable Meli before she left, but I didn't want to interrupt her flow of thought. Because what she spoke about is something that, Honorable Speaker, we call the Internet of Things. What she's experiencing, where there's an integration between people, technology, sensitivity of devices that we use, to an extent that sometimes if, for example, you're thinking about buying an outfit and you log into your Instagram or Facebook, the first things that actually come is the outfit that you examples of the outfit that you want to buy. And also the kind of language that you use, because machine learning takes control of the kind of language that you use to an extent that you feel like AI knows you better than what people know. And to an extent that sometimes when you're doing an assignment, then the indication is that there's a lot of AI involved. But it's because of the nature of the Internet of Things. Millie has gone to class just like myself. We both do online classes. But also, again, that's another advantage that we have with technology. Honorable Speaker, to the motion at hand, first of all, is just to thank the chair of CII. I was a member of the CII committee, and I remember when this conversation was really one of the key issues that we deliberated on. I was also very lucky to be among the members who had an opportunity to visit the Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology in Daejeon. And what I saw there, Honorable Speaker, and especially for me, the excitement was even seeing young Kenyans who've gone through KAIST, young Kenyans who were speaking in the South Korean language, who acted as our interpreters, and also who enabled us to see just how beneficial having a similar institute in our country would be great for us. An Honorable Speaker, for me also, is to thank also the Committee on Delegated Legislation, because they took the baton from the CII committee. They ensure that now we have a draft charter so that we are able to see the benefits of this particular institution. Honorable Speaker, I've looked at the 7 main programs, postgraduate programs that are going to be offered. And for me, and especially because in the STEM space, we don't have a lot of young women and even older women who are participating in this. I'm really hoping that one of the things that this institution will seek to do is encourage and go to schools where we have young women who are interested in STEM, so that they can also get into this particular institution and study some of the very unique courses they have. And just to list some of them, like mechanical engineering, nuclear engineering, electrical and electronic engineering, civil and environmental engineering, ICT engineering, chemical engineering, and biotechnology as well. Honorable Speaker, also for me, what is very important is the fact that as a parliament, we are helping to ensure that we have a very important charter being established. This is very unique to us. We don't have many African countries that have this already. And so this is going to open a lot of spaces to encourage even young people from across Africa, from other continents, to also come to Kenya to be able to study this. Honorable Speaker, the other thing, and especially about technology, because nowadays you can't run away from just how important technology is to us. And for me, what I'd really would like to see once this charter is completed, once the legal aspects of it are completed, is that we actually have a situation where the principal of this particular institution and everyone else who is involved goes out there to ensure that we're encouraging as many Kenyans as possible to register and for these courses, so that we're not only focusing on the usual postgraduate courses that we do, but that we're encouraging people into this particular journey of getting into the technology space. So, Honorable Speaker, once again, thank you to the committee for bringing this up. We support it fully, and we hope that it starts working as soon as possible. I thank you. I submit.
The member for Malindi.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia huu wakati ili na mimi niweze kuweka sauti yangu na mawazo yangu kuhusu mswada wenye ambao uko mbele yetu. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, nichukue fursa hii niweze kuunga mkono huu mswada wenye ambao uko hapa mbele yetu wa chuo kikuu, ambacho kitakuwa kinajihusisha hususan na masomo ya sayansi na teknolojia. Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha ieleweke ya kwamba dunia ya siku hizi bila masuala ya sayansi na teknolojia, basi huwa nchi haiendi mahali. Na mimi niko hapa nikiunga mkono masuala ya sayansi, hichi chuo kikuu ambacho kitakuwa kinahusika hususan na masuala ya sayansi na teknolojia, kwa sababu naelewa umuhimu wa sayansi na teknolojia kwa vile ambavyo dunia ya siku hizi ilivyo. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, kama vile wabunge wengine walivyozungumza, sisi kama nchi na taifa ya Kenya tuko na vision yetu, tuko na malengo yetu. Jambo la kwanza, tuko na hiyo vision 2030 yenye ambayo imeambatana na sisi kama Wakenya kuwa na chuo kikuu ambacho kitaweza kuhusika na masuala ya sayansi na teknolojia, ili Wakenya waweze kujiendeleza mbele kuhusu masuala kama hayo. Mheshimiwa Spika, pale ambapo pamenivutia zaidi ni yale masomo yenye ambayo kwa nguvu za Mungu tukipitisha hapa bungeni, hicho chuo kikuu kinakwenda kufundisha. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa wale ambao hawaelewi Kizungu na ndio maana sisi tunazungumza Kiswahili, kuna masomo baadhi yenye ambao ni mazuri na ambayo yanaweza kuleta manufaa katika taifa letu. Kuna masuala ya mechanical engineering yenye ambayo kwa Kiswahili ni uhandisi wa mitambo. Kuna masuala ama masomo ya uhandisi wa umeme. Kuna masuala ya uhandisi wa ICT, uhandisi wa kemikali. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna uhandisi wa ujenzi na masuala ya kilimo. Kwa hivyo hata hizi masomo yote yenye ambayo yanakwenda kupatianishwa na hichi chuo kikuu ni masomo yenye ambayo yanaambatana unyo kwa unyo na maisha yetu ya kila siku. Mheshimiwa Spika, yale masomo ambayo yanaenda kutoanishwa pale, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni mambo ambayo yanaweza kutusaidia sisi kwa masuala ya madawa, kwa masuala ya ukulima, kwa masuala ya makazi yetu ya hapa na pale, na ndio maana nimeweza kusimama hapa na kuweza kuunga mkono mswada. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha pia tuchukue fursa hii tuweze kushukuru serikali pia ya South Korea, kama vile ambavyo nimesikia wazungumzaji wengine wakisema ya kwamba tumeweza kuambatana na kuungana na wao kuhakikisha ya kwamba mswada umeweza kusimama kidete, na kwamba ninavyoelewa ya kwamba nchi ya South Korea wako tayari na iko tayari kuungana na nchi ya Kenya ili kuhakikisha ya kwamba masomo katika hichi chuo kikuu kimeweza kuendelea vizuri. Mheshimiwa Spika, unajua ni vizuri watu wanapojihusisha na nchi zingine ili kuweza kubadilisha mawazo na kuweza kubadilisha elimu. Na najua nchi kama hiyo ambayo imehitajika, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni nchi ambayo pia iko mbele na imejisatiti kwa upande wa teknolojia. Kwa hivyo kukuwa na partners kama hawa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambao wako tayari, wamesimama kidete kuweza kushikana na sisi ili kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeweza kubadilisha mambo yetu ya sayansi na teknolojia ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nazidi kuunga mkono huu mswada. Masuala ya utafiti pia nao, Mheshimiwa Spika, yasiweze kubaki nyuma, kwani sisi kama Wakenya tunajulikaniwa ni watu wachapa kazi. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi Wakenya tunajulikaniwa ni watu wenye ambao tumesoma na tumenajisaidia kwa upande wa masomo yetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna vitu kadhaa ambayo sisi kama Wakenya tayari tumeshawahi kuunda, tumesaidia katika kuiunda, na kuna vitu ambavyo tayari vinaonekana vinatumika. Mheshimiwa Spika, masuala ya utumizi wa M-Pesa, Mheshimiwa Spika, najua kuna nguvu na jasho la Wakenya wenye ambao waliketi chini na wakaona hii idea ni nzuri, na saizi Mheshimiwa Spika, M-Pesa inaweza kutumika kila mahali, na niko na imani ya kwamba kuna Wakenya wengi kule nje, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambao wako na ideas nyingi za kuweza kusaidia na kuweza kusaidia katika utafiti na teknolojia na sayansi yetu ya hapa nchini. Mheshimiwa Spika, kitu ambacho Mheshimiwa Spika ningeweza kuweka mdomo wangu pia hapo ni kuhusu masuala ya fedha. Mheshimiwa Spika, kama vile shule zingine zinavyoendelea hapa na pale, maombi yangu ni kwamba tunapounda hichi chuo kikuu cha kujihusisha hususan na sayansi na teknolojia, wacha pia na sisi kama wabunge na serikali ya Kenya iweze kujua ya kwamba hili si jambo la kuchezewa, hili ni jambo lenye ambalo litatupeleka sisi mbele. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hivyo masuala ya pesa, masuala ya funding, sisi kama wabunge, sisi kama viongozi, tunapoweka hichi chuo kikuu ili kiweze kusimama sawa sawa, Mheshimiwa Spika, masuala ya pesa pia lazima yaweze kuangaliwa. Ningeweza kuomba wenzangu ya kwamba chuo kikuu ili kiweze kusimama vizuri, ni lazima pia pesa ziwe zinapatikaniwa vizuri, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo tunapofanya bajeti yetu ya nchi, Mheshimiwa Spika, tuweze kuweka pesa nyingi pia pale. Mheshimiwa Spika, matatizo si kusoma peke yake, kwa sababu masomo yanaweza kupatikaniwa kila pahali. Mheshimiwa Spika, kitu ambacho kinatatiza ni utafiti. Na utafiti, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kitu ambacho si rahisi. Kwa hivyo na sisi pia tuko tayari. Kama Wakenya tumesema tunaelekea direction hiyo, ni tuwe tayari kuweka kitita cha pesa cha kueleweka, ili wale wanafunzi ambao wanafanya utafiti wa madawa, utafiti wa ukulima, utafiti wa ujenzi, utafiti wa mambo mengi, waweze kuwa na enough resources za kuweza kuwasaidia ili kuweza kufanya kazi zao, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na nikimalizia, Mheshimiwa Spika, kawaida ya kila mwanafunzi pale anapomaliza kusoma, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kuweza kupata kazi. Tunapoweza kuweka hivi vyuo vikuu vingi, Mheshimiwa Spika, mbalimbali vinavyotusaidia hapa na pale, tunataka ya pia hawa wanaokwenda kusoma pale wasiwe ni watu ambao tunawasomesha kisha baadaye waende nchi za ng'ambo. Tunataka ile knowledge yao na kile ambacho wameweza kujifundisha, Mheshimiwa Spika, kiweze kutumika hapa ndani ya Kenya. Ni sisi tuwe tuna nafasi ya kuweka kazi, ya kuweza kutengeneza kazi, ili wale ambao wamekwenda kusoma pale waweze kutusaidia sisi hapa ndani ya taifa yetu ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hayo mengi machache, asanteni sana na naunga mkono mswada.
The Honorable Member for Marakwet West, you got, from my records, we have to ask the member to reply at the next 5 minutes, so you got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'll be very fast. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this very important motion on the draft charter for the establishment of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I rise to support the letter, the spirit and the intent of this very, very important motion. Honorable Speaker, Section 24 of the Universities Act empowers the President to establish specialized degree awarding institutions of strategic importance. Honorable Speaker, further, this particular law provides that this particular institution shall be able to produce highly qualified scientists and engineers with theoretical and practical knowledge of future industries in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, for Kenya to progress as an economy, for Kenya's economy to grow, Honorable Speaker, we must be able to industrialize. And Honorable Speaker, to industrialize, we have as a country to be able to provide, to produce top-notch scientists who can be able to study, do research, and be able, Honorable Speaker, to advise the country in terms of advancement in technology. Honorable Speaker, this week, we watched American astronauts with EO as they traveled more than 400,000 kilometers to the moon to study, to do research on our planet, to do research and study our universe. Honorable Speaker, whereas in Kenya, we are busy discussing politics. We are busy discussing numbers on the next election. Honorable Speaker, we should be ashamed as a country. Honorable Speaker, as a house, as a country, we must also be very deliberate in allocating funds for purposes of research, technology, and innovation. Honorable Speaker, I've done my little research. And America today is a successful country in terms of technology, research, and innovation because it has invested heavily. They have invested $934 billion in this year's budget. Honorable Speaker, Singapore, the country that we so aspire to be, has invested $37 billion in innovation and research. Our neighbor South Africa has invested $1.5 billion. Honorable Speaker, Kenya, in the year 2025 budget, we invested a mere $7.2 million. Honorable Speaker, we cannot achieve or aspire to be Singapore when we don't invest money in research and innovation. So, Honorable Speaker, as I support this motion, I also encourage this House to be very deliberate. We allocate more funds. Let us establish this particular important university, but also invest more funds in research, innovation, and technology so that we industrialize the country. We have more scientists who can be able to advise and also be able to, to guide us on matters to do with innovation and technology. Honorable Speaker, for those reasons, I support this very important motion.
Well said. I think it's time now for the mover to reply. Honorable Ichung'wa.
Honorable Speaker, let me take this opportunity as I reply to thank all the members who have created time to contribute to this motion, and also thank them for unanimously supporting the Committee on Delegated Legislation on this report for establishment of Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Honorable Speaker, it has come out clearly that this is a matter of national importance, and all members of parliament from all divides have really supported this, and it has really shown the journey to Singapore is real. If we can establish such an institution, which is the first in kind in Africa, I believe Kenya will be a benchmarking country for matters of science and technology. And we hope that after the parliament passes this, it will be fast-tracked so that this university or Advanced Institute of Technology, Science and Technology will become a reality and start benefiting Kenyans and Africans and all the other countries that are supposed to benefit, and in future we'll be able to reap the benefits out of it. Honorable Speaker, without much ado, I beg to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Well said. Honorable members.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And Honorable Speaker, I request that you defer the putting of the question for obvious reasons, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, and thank members for this. I always wondered how debate would happen that when a member speaks, he walks out. The next one speaks, they walk out. Who is supposed to make the decision after you contribute? Because I've been sitting here and every member who contributed walked out soon thereafter. The putting of the question on this particular motion will be done the next time it's loaded in the order paper. Next order. The Honorable Maungu.
Order number 9, motion, consideration of the draft charter for the establishment of the Kenya Medical Research Institute.
Out of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to standing order number 35 that we seem to have a quorum hitch in the House.
Maungu, you just walked in. When did you count the members? Okay. Okay. Good. Could we have the quorum bell rung for the next 10 minutes? Honorable Makali Mulu, you just walked in. You can't walk in and you are making a loud noise about sleep. Maybe you have just from sleep yourself. Who knows? Kuna whip.
Good evening. You have been watching KBC, and we have been bringing to you live coverage of the National Assembly. The members of the National Assembly have been discussing the motion on adopting the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the draft charter for the establishment of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. For now, the House is facing lack of quorum, and the bell is being rung for 10 minutes to allow members to come in and maybe to fill the required number of members, that is 50 out of 359, so that the House can continue with its business according to the standing orders. On the order paper, there is also a motion to adopt the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the draft charter for the establishment of the Kenya Medical Research Institute, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 7th April 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 24(1) of the Universities Act, Cap 210, this House approves the award of charter for the establishment of the Kenya Medical Research Institute. In the order paper, also there is a motion to note the reports of Kenya delegations to the assemblies of the Interparliamentary Union (IPU) and related meetings as follows: 147th Assembly held in Luanda, Angola, from 23rd to 27th October 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 24th February 2026. 148th Assembly held in Geneva, Switzerland, from 23rd to 27th March 2024, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 18th September 2024. 149th Assembly held in Geneva, Switzerland, from 13th to 17th October 2024, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 5th December 2024. And 150th Assembly held in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, from 5th to 9th April 2025, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 14th October 2025. The National Assembly is also expected to discuss a motion to adopt the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on its consideration of the Defense Cooperation Agreements, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 8(4) of the Treaty Making and Ratification Act, Cap 4D approves the ratification of the following defense cooperation agreements: agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the French Republic, subject to reservations on Article 9.5, 13.3, and inclusion of new articles on community relations, environmental protection, and training areas. Agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Czech Republic, subject to reservations on Article 14 and inclusion of a new provision on jurisdiction. Agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the People's Republic of China, subject to reservations on Article 10.22 and inclusion of a new provision on training areas. agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, subject to reservations on Article 11, and agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, subject to reservations on Article 15.5 and inclusion of new articles on environmental protection and training areas. On the order paper also is a motion on consideration of the consolidated fund services under the supplementary estimates for the financial year 2025-2026, and that this House adopts the report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the consolidated fund services under the supplementary estimates for financial year 2025-2026, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 7th April 2026. Also on this afternoon's order paper is the bill on the Equality, Healthcare and Patient Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2025, that is expected to continue to be discussed on the floor of the House. Also, the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 42 of 2025 is one of the bills that the National Assembly is expected to continue debating on this evening. The Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill.
The Minority Whip, could you approach?
National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025 is also another bill that the National Assembly is expected to continue discussing this evening. For now, the House is facing lack of sufficient quorum. Remember, National Assembly needs 50 members out of the 349 members of the 13th Parliament in order to continue with its business according to the order, the standing orders, and also according to the Constitution of Kenya. The Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, is also lined up for debate this evening, and is a bill that was brought to the House by the Majority Leader of the National Assembly. There is also a motion on consideration of a petition regarding delay in resettlement of squatters under the Chepkumia Land Exchange Program, and that this House is expected to adopt the report of the Public Petitions Committee on its consideration of a public petition number 69 of 2023 regarding delay in resettlement of squatters in Koibem and Gerek villages, Nandi County, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 11th November 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 34(5)(b) of the Forest Conservation and Management Act, Cap 385. That the boundaries of the South Nandi Forest be varied by excluding 10.62 hectares in the Kaimosi block along the Yala River from the original boundaries of the forest for the settlement of documented squatters from Koibem and Gerek villages in Nandi County, and for attendant public utilities as planned under the Chepkumia Land Exchange Program. That the 910.62 hectares so excluded under paragraph A be degazetted and allocated as follows: 266.88 hectares be allocated for the settlement of the documented squatters from Koibem village, 455.45 hectares be allocated for the settlement of the documented squatters from Gerek village, and 188.29 hectares be served for attendant public utilities. Also on the order paper this evening, National Assembly is expected to continue discussing.
More than 10 minutes. So, you can stop the bell. We don't have quorum.
One has been bringing to you live coverage of the National Assembly. Also on the order paper is a motion on fifth report of the audited accounts of various state corporations in Western Region for the financial years 2018, 2019 to 2020, 2021. motion also, one of the motions
All
also.
members, for obvious reasons, and the time now being 6:10, this House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 9th April 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
Tomorrow, 9th of April 2026. My name is Tilio Marco. You have been watching a live coverage of the National Assembly through KBC Radio Taifa and also on Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. Enjoy the rest of your evening.